Thank you so much for watching Landom C Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. If one starts to think about historical drama television series during the 1970s, one of the prominent ones that stands out would be the series The Waltons, about a family living in the country in Virginia during the Great Depression and World War II. It was created by Earl Hamner Jr. and based on his 1961 book, Spencer's Mountain. The series aired from 1972 to 1981. The very popular television film, The Homecoming, A Christmas Story, was broadcast on December 19th, 1971. And based on the success of that production, CBS Television ordered the first season of the episodes to be based on those same characters, and that television series then had a name change to The Waltons. The show's ending sequence featured the family saying good night to everyone before they drifted off to sleep. And one of the most common catchphrases during that time was the one that was said, "Good night, John Boy." The whole story is set on top of Walton's Mountain, a fictitious mountain community in the also fictitious Jefferson County, Virginia. The real place where the story originated was based on a community in Nelson County, Virginia. The time periods that run in the series are from 1933 to 1946, during the Great Depression and the Second World War, during the presidential administrations of Franklin Roosevelt and Harry S. Truman. The year 1933 is suggested by a reference to the opening of the Century of Progress exposition in Chicago, a brief shot of an automobile registration, and it is divulged in episode number 5 that the date is in the spring of 1933. The last episode for season 1, An Easter Story, is set in February through April of 1934. The year of 1934 takes 2 seasons to cover, while some successive years are covered over the course of a few months. The series finale revolves around a party, and the invitation date is given as June 4th, 1946. This leads us to believe that a span of 13 years is therefore covered in 9 seasons. There are some chronological inconsistencies, most of which do not hinder the storyline. The episode depicting the attack on Pearl Harbor was broadcast on December 7th, 1978, which coordinated the month and the date of which the attack occurred. The Walton house that we've become so familiar with was actually located in the northern section of the jungle area of Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank. Walton's Mountain, which could be seen from the house's front porch, was actually a slope of the Hollywood Hills, directly south of the Warner Brothers Studios. That good night routine that we talked about earlier that ended each show was an actual activity in creator Earl Hamner's home when he was a child. He states that that activity would go on until his father would finally tell them to be quiet. One instance of this not happening in the show was a 2-part episode called The Outrage. At the end of part 2, President Roosevelt dies, and the family goes to Charlottesville early in the morning to pay their last respects as the train carrying his body passes by. What makes this production so amazing is the depth of the characters in it. Characters that you want to be a part of, or that you want in your life. To be honest, probably almost everyone wanted Olivia Walton to be their mother. She was smart, sincere, mature, and every child's dream of a mother. But as it really turns out, Michael Learned was dreaming of the other side of the fence almost the whole time that she was on the show. She kept waiting for an agent to call her and get her cast in some kind of villainous character role, but it just never happened. Instead, she would get numerous calls to play the good woman, the strong woman, someone who could face problems without falling apart, and at the same time, keep everyone else from falling apart too. Her biggest dream in acting was to be given the chance to play a real nasty lady. The stardom that was brought on by this popular show had some consequences that went with it. So many episodes of seeing a particular character made viewers and casting directors see them in a certain light. As a result, many who made it big on TV had a legitimate fear of being typecast, being only stuck in roles that were similar to their biggest credits. Such was the fear of some of the younger actors on the show as well, who became forever seen as wholesome, sweet kids. And in their minds, the quickest way to offset that was to get some breast implants and do a Playboy spread. Viewers came to know Judy Norton-Taylor and Mary Elizabeth McDonough as Mary Ellen and Aaron Walton. They lived admirable lives throughout the run of the show, with each of them providing different sources of inspiration. Throughout it all, they maintained a wholesomeness and a clean image. They were free from scandal and sensation. As Mary Elizabeth McDonough rose to fame, a particular trend had just taken rise. Starlets in her position sought out body modifications, and she went on to get her breast enlarged at the age of 24, hoping that people would see her much older and much more grown up, which might boost her career as time went on. However, that decision was a bad one. Number one, it didn't work, and number two, the implants made her sick because they ruptured and disintegrated in her chest. It said that she was sick for 10 solid years. Again, another former Walton daughter wanted an identity of her own, not that of Mary Ellen Walton. In this case, Judy Norton turned to Playboy. As soon as the series ended, she started doing stock theater and doing as much as she could to reinvent herself. And in 1985, she did it. She shocked everyone by using a more dramatic method. At age 27, she appeared in a spread in the August issue of Playboy. She felt like this was the quickest and most direct way to get her point across. The offers didn't come rolling in after this spread, but she said she did learn a lot of lessons from doing it, in terms of trusting her own instincts and decisions more than other people's. What a great show to watch. You just put your finger on any episode and spend the time watching it, and you'll be thoroughly entertained. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.